Hi, everyone. I'm Jason Morgan, editor of Fleet Equipment, and welcome to Fleet Equipment Unscripted. Today, we're talking with Conal Deedy, Director of Connected Vehicle Services at Volvo Trucks North America, and Scott Sutarik, Geotab's Vice President of Commercial Vehicle Solutions. Gentlemen, good to see you both. It's been a while. I know we've all been quarantined and haven't been able to connect, so glad to be able to connect with you both today. We're going to dive right into our conversation. You had the announcement integrating Geotab deeper into Volvo. It said the details of that announcement said that the Geotab fleet management solution integrates via Factoryfit telematics hardware. Um,
Yes.
what does that mean? I mean, how is this a deeper integration than when I take a Geotab device and just plug it into the truck? And what benefits do I get from it?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we absolutely, I think the really exciting part is that we have two ways for customers to get the information into their Geotab portal to perform their business. What we added um, with with the Telematics Gateway hardware, in addition to the offer we already had with Geotab, was now that customers that have Volvo trucks that are already equipped with the factory fit hardware can now use that information to populate their Geotab portal. So they don't have to put on a third party piece of hardware after the truck is built. It comes with it built. And the advantage on the data side is, we have obviously validated and have access to all the information on the data bus in the Telematics Gateway that we have factory fit. So we can get a lot of information from all over the vehicle. And also many times the information that's on the vehicle you can have multiple places, like road speed can be in 4 different places on the truck. We will deliver the most accurate and best choice based on that model and specification of that road speed through the portal. So um, that's one of the big advantages of using the factory fit hardware that's on there. That we can send that data over to Geotab, and the customer, they just see the information that they need to see. And with the aftermarket offer, if they have a mixed fleet, they can, or an older trucks that don't have the factory fit hardware, they can install the Geotab hardware, and they get the same experience across their fleet. So it saves the customer some money, um, and that factory fit hardware, like I said, we have the information and data, rich data set that's validated in each model year change, each engine change, different transmissions. We validate all that information, and we make sure that it's the most accurate and best information that we're sending over through our integration.
I see. Okay, because I know you and I have talked before about trying to um, get to miles per gallon and fuel economy numbers, and I know you brought that example up before too, right? Where you can get
Yep.
different information from different sensors, and which one do you trust, and the OEM being really the source for understanding that. So this telematics gateway, it's already built in the truck. It's like the data traffic cop, right? Sending the information, and the partnership just lets it happen on the back end where I might not see it. I mean, the
Yes.
integration part. Okay.
Absolutely. And so once the truck arrives, you can turn it on right away, and you don't have to, again, take the truck out of service to install a third-party hardware. Um, you know, we have a really good aftermarket integration with the Geotab hardware with its own harness and everything. So it is pretty quick and easy to do. But really with the factory fit, it's even easier.
Okay, very cool. All right, I'm gonna move over to Scott here because I want to understand. Okay, great. What does that mean from the telematics point of view and being able to manage that? What maybe new solutions or technologies would I be able to see or leverage through the integration? And do you have a few examples of how I can improve my operations using this?
Yeah, so I mean, I think from an operational standpoint, I mean, there's two key items, right? And so one Connell talked about, right, which is the factory install, right? So there's not the need for the aftermarket install and potential issues that could arise from that. So that's one. The second one, which a lot of people don't think about, is if something does go wrong with the device, it is covered under a 2-year warranty from Volvo. Um, and that is serviced at the local dealerships, right? So you have a huge network of dealerships that can help if there is an issue with the hardware that is built from the factory. So in addition to that, from a Geotab standpoint, really what we're doing is we're taking that Volvo gateway and we're just replacing the Go device, right? So from a functionality standpoint, you're still going to get the same Geotab drive. You're going to get your fuel tax reporting, where the vehicle's at, your engine diagnostics, type data, right? Fuel economy, all the stuff that you've come to know and love from your Geotab device, just with that factory install. So from a solution standpoint, you get the core part of Geotab's product. But in addition to that, you also have access to Geotab's huge network of partners through the Geotab marketplace. So it could be anything from TMS providers, it could be maintenance providers, and the list goes on and on. But you really open up that powerful ecosystem to be able to leverage other partners as well.
I see. Okay. And that speaks to really something that we've been talking a lot about too, given everything that's going on, given the uncertainty and fleets needing to be able to run trucks. The ELD mandate was surely difficult for a lot of fleets, right? It was hard to come by. But in retrospect, it was kind of a blessing in disguise, given that everybody has data now that they can use, right? And they can kind of evaluate, okay, is my ELD, I have the compliance side, but do I have these other benefits baked into it that now I can use it on the application side, operation side, and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely, right? So being compliant is the first step, and many fleets for a long time have taken advantage of the other functionality of telematics, and now there's more and more fleets that are starting to go that way, right? And everybody does it at varying levels. Most fleets start off with one problem they're looking to solve. It could be a safety, it could be a maintenance problem, and then they go to the second problem, the third problem, and so on and so forth. I mean, we always recommend, take small steps, do the crawl, walk, run type thing. Don't try to bite off 20 problems at the
Right.
same time. But this type of data that we're getting from the Volvo device now, and as well from the Go device, allows fleets to really maximize their operations, safety, maintenance practices.
Right. And I'm getting a sense that out there with fleets in some of the conversation I've had, I mean, it's easy to take all this for granted, right? You get an ELD solution, then you see all this other stuff like, well, it should be able to do X, Y, Z now, right? And it's like, well, that's either the remote diagnostics or the telematics application or anything like that. So it makes a lot of sense that this is the next step in the integration partnership. With that in mind, I'll throw this over to Conal to start. I mentioned earlier that it seems like we're entering into a new phase of integrations between telematics providers, data providers, and OEMs. We've seen a number of announcements across the industry of partnerships, acquisitions, that kind of thing. From the fleet point of view, what advice do you have that would allow me to kind of navigate what these partnerships mean for my fleet operations and how I can get the most out of it? What should I be looking for? How do I make sure that I'm on the right platform for maybe Volvo as well as all the other trucks I'm running?
That's a great question. Yeah, we've talked to, obviously we're talking to fleets all the time and to customers that are either on a system or looking to change and look for advice on what system they should be on. What I think is happening behind the scenes and what we're seeing with all these announcements and other things like that, it sounds pretty complicated. It sounds like there's a lot going on, but really there are behind the scenes, but it's really about making it a little more simple for the fleet or for the owner operator or whoever on being able to get the information they want in the place that they're comfortable working in. So we have a lot of customers that are comfortable using the Geotab platform, and it has a lot of flexibility with their marketplace, as Scott mentioned. So, it's from customer feedback that we have, we pursue the partners that we do. We're looking for best in class partners to have to partner with. And that's not only on that platform side and the capabilities, but also the support they give to customers when they do have an issue.
Very good. Scott, what do you see on your side on the Geotab point of view?
So, I mean, I think there's a couple different things when you think about, the fleet standpoint. And I think first and foremost is simplicity, right? As Connell said, we want to be able to provide the customer a way to get the data that they need, right, in the place that they're most comfortable with, right? And that's really what this partnership with Volvo is really focused on, is how do we get that data into the Geotab system. So I mean, if you look at Geotab, today we have around 600,000 truck units on our system, and growing rapidly, right? And the feedback we've really gotten is that customers want that information coming from their Volvo factory installed gateway, right? And that's really why we've gone down this path, and we're going to continue to go down that path. I mean, from a fleet standpoint, I mean, I think a lot of the questions around all these partnerships in the industry are very much so the same basic concept that they think about when they look at a TSP or they look at an OEM, right? Are they happy with the product, right? How long have they been in business, right? I want to be able to be confident in the product, right? So, like, you look at the Geotab Volvo integration, and we have thousands of devices out in the market working today for hours of service. And we're continuing to grow that, right? I mean, I think there's a tendency in the industry of making an announcement, right? But the reality is that many announcements are just that, they're announcements, where this specific integration is in the market today and it's working for fleets. And that's something which is a lot more powerful than just an announcement. So I mean, when fleets are going out there looking at different integrations, different relationships, I think it's really important to get some visibility. How is this working? What customers are utilizing it? What is working? What's not? And so on and so forth. And I mean, those would be some of the tidbits from a fleet standpoint that I think are important.
Yeah, and a good point too, and a good reminder, something that's coming up more and more is fleets being able to work with their technology providers same way they do with OEMs, right? The problems are just now in the data world that you can help them decipher, analyze, and solve for. But those partnerships and those relationships also have a huge value in addition to the services and solutions that you offer. Very cool. Okay, hey, good to see you both. I really appreciate you two taking the time out of your day to talk with us. And I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon, as I'm guessing more and more announcements will come down the line.